Hey everybody, this is Acadius, bringing you episode 3 of Life Lessons with Acadius. This one is a relatively short tale. It takes place a few years ago, in my early days of being involved with animal rescue before I got the title of field agent. So it takes place one night where I was dealing with a rescue site that was located in the back of a old abandoned drive-in, and in the back of this area a lot of rocks, that would be perfect, that were perfect for this backyard garden that I had. So I figured, well, tonight I'll go out there and I'll actually dig up a few of these rocks as they were half submerged into the ground, and I'll bring a shovel and some rubber gloves so I don't get my hands dirty, because after the rounds I was supposed to meet up with some friends. So I'm dressed, dressy casual, blue jeans and a dress shirt and kind of like a sport coat type thing, and so I drive into the back there, and it's really dark, and I make sure that the two sites there, the shelter's still intact, and the water and the food is refilled. And I park the car so I have the headlights shining onto the area that I have to dig. And so I have the rubber gloves on and a large shovel. And of course I'm digging, and thought, this would be funny if one of the local officers, which occasionally they would pull back there and make sure there wasn't any illegal activity going on, but they knew me. But it'd be funny if there was like a new officer in the area and he pulls back there, and there I am with a shovel, rubber gloves, dressed semi-nice, and I'm laughing to myself because I'm actually thinking about this scenario, so, but that's not the point. So I get the rocks, load them into the trunk, put the shovel back in, and the next area that I have to go to is a few miles away, and it's high traffic area because it's a mall, and there's this 4-foot high wall where it sheltered some abandoned felines back there, and it was perfect for me because all I have to do is just reach over, change out the water and the food and the shelters, and nobody really knows that they're there. So I park into my usual spot, and I see these two teenage boys sitting against the wall, and I see them, and I think to myself, well, I can wait them out longer than they can wait me out. They might have been waiting for a ride, I thought, so I'm not gonna bother them. So I get out of the car because it's relatively warm night, but still enjoyable, and I get out of the car and I lean against it and playing on my phone, and I still had the rubber gloves on, and I don't know why, to be honest. Probably because I was just like so distracted or focused or whatever. So I'm playing on the phone, and I kind of glance up occasionally, and they're just staring at me, and I couldn't tell if it's like, oh, they want to be tough or whatever. So my hearing is really amplified onto their conversation, and one of them leans into the other, and she's like, oh, I wouldn't be surprised if he was a serial killer. Well, me being the wise ass that I am, or especially at that time, decided, well, I'm gonna play into this. I pop open the trunk and I pull out the shovel and I lean the shovel against the car, and then I shut the trunk, and then I lean myself against the car next to the shovel, and I fold my arms and I just stare at them. And yeah, partially I just wanted them to be gone because it'd been like 15 minutes and I had places to be. So they're looking at me like, what the hell? And the younger brother is panicked, and can you blame him, really? I mean, it's, evening time, and you're joking around about a serial killer, and this guy pulls out a shovel wearing rubber gloves, and now he's just staring at you. So within a few minutes, they quickly kind of walked away, but looking over their shoulder. I'm looking at this as, well, here's my opportunity to do what I do, change the water and the food and stuff, because I really don't like people seeing what I do. It leads into other complications, because other people will think, oh, wow, this guy takes care of cats over here or whatnot. We can drop Fluffy and her kittens that we don't want over here, and they'll be magically taken care of. I digress. So I'm making a few trips back and forth, changing the water. Okay, now I gotta change the food, yada yada yada. At one point, the older brother had came back while I was at the car, and he's just staring at me, and I'm looking at him, and he said something, and it was like a derogative tone, and I don't respond well to that, muffled threats or, obvious threats for that matter. So I asked him, I'm sorry, did you say something? Can I help you with something? And he's like, what the hell's your problem? I said, I don't have a problem. And now he's acting like he's got a gun in his waistband, in the back of his pants there. And I'm familiar with these kind of situations. People have tried doing this to me before. I've had an actual gun, not pulled on me, but close to it. It's like, whatever. I view it as, if it's my time, it's my time. But anyway, so I said, look, if you've got something behind you, I suggest you pull it out and be done with it. Otherwise, get the hell out of my way. And he's like, well, you do something. I think, look, what's your name? And he says Travis. And I said, Travis. And I looked at him, and it took me a moment. I recognized this kid finally. He was from my old apartment complex a couple years back, but he had grown so much in this 2 years, I didn't recognize him. And I said, Travis from blah 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 apartments? And he's like, yeah. And I think it kind of freaked him out that I knew where he lived. And I said, it's me, Acadius. He's like, oh my god, Acadius, what the hell, man? He recognized me. My hair was a little longer since the last time he had seen me, so I can understand why he didn't recognize right away. And I explained what I was doing there and so on and so forth. He's like, man, you scared the shit out of me and my brother. Well, his younger brother I didn't recognize either, because he too grew fast. And I'm like, look, man, I was just trying to, get my stuff done. I don't like anybody seeing what I do, so on and so forth. He's like, oh, I get it. And so his younger brother had peeked around the corner at this point, and he thought that it was a confrontation going on between Travis and myself. And finally Travis was like, no, come on out, Kyle. And Kyle, recognized me finally, and, we had a few laughs. And so I, of course, exchanged pleasantries, and then told them to take care, and advised them, don't pretend to have a gun. That could really turn out bad for you, So anyway, I meet up with my two friends at a cafe bar type place, and I get there, and of course I don't have the rubber gloves on and all that, and I tell them what had just happened, and they're having they're laughing at it. And shortly after I'm done telling this brief story, there's a police helicopter above us with a searchlight right on the parking lot where we're parked, and the light hits my car at the time, and two sheriff's units, squad cars, come rolling in, and they're kind of around it. Well, Dean looks at me, my friend Dean. He looks at me, he's like, Jesus, Acadius, what the hell did you do? I'm like, I didn't do anything, honestly. He's like, you didn't do anything to those two kids? I'm like, no, I swear to God, why would I be here if I killed somebody? And he's like, well, okay, good point, but I don't know about you. I'm like, okay, well, that's a whole other subject. So it turned out, though, that my car matched the description of another car that was involved in a robbery of some sort, a violent robbery. And so the sheriffs were there making, running the plates and all that stuff. So it turned out to be nothing on my end. So there you go. That's my story to tell. And I guess if you were to take any lesson away from this, it would be think before you open your mouth and have misrepresent yourself, and because it can and could bite you in the ass. So I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what other kind of stories you want to hear. If you want to hear personal stories, funny stories, dating stories, whatever, I'll try to do the best I can to meet those requests. I can't promise anything, but until next time, I'll talk to you later.